like for cartoons, I don't really watch cartoons that much, but like I do remember in my childhood, maybe like when I was little, I do watch a lot of cartoons. So I feel like as I transitioned like into like older age, I started watching a lot more anime. But I've also seen like there are different but I've also seen that there are like different like cartoons that are currently being animated, like turned into anime, like SpongeBob for example. And I found that to be very interesting because like I really like anime. Like I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little biased towards anime, but in terms of like cartoons and anime, I would definitely choose anime over cartoons. And I feel like cartoons, maybe it's just like a thing for little kids. That's just my
cartoons, not really anime. I could when they're like good, you know, not like just any average cartoon. I like the adult animated stuff, but like not like Family Guy or The Simpsons, just stuff that's like, it feels like real in a way, yeah. Anime is cool and all, I like it, I like a majority of it, but I feel a lot of it, the animation's like kind of like stunted a lot of times. It's like kind of like, you can tell frame by frame, it's like, you know, the mouth kind of like flap open every once in a while. Yeah, sometimes you get some good stuff out there, but I mostly watch cartoons because like more frames. You know, you see the full motion of like arms swinging and everything. It depends on the cartoon though, because it's like, again, Family Guy does like the same thing where it's like they use like the same like motions over and over. It's kind of like nothing really to it.
I personally don't watch anime. I've seen a little bit of anime. I just don't have enough experience to say much about it. But I really love like children's cartoons. I love Pokemon. I haven't watched it recently. I just think Simpsons and stuff like South Park, I mean, they're old and they're gonna naturally lose their audience. I don't know, I don't really have anything profound to say about this subject. But I like cartoons and I like Kim Possible.
I didn't watch a lot of anime before, but all of my friends really like it, so I started getting into it recently. But I also really like kids cartoons. Like I'm a film major, so I really like children's media because I think it's very formative into modern society, and it's something I want to go into like for work. So
some of the more like insightful shows, I don't mean like Rick and Morty and stuff like that, but I like watching some new people's animated products, like, I don't know, Has Been Hotel, stuff like that. I've never liked Family Guy very much. That's where the transition to anime. I feel like anime's always been a great medium from a different country, so maybe that's why American viewers at least are so enraptured by it.
The issue that I have with American animation versus anime, which is very, like, both of those are such large categories. I feel like popular American animation, like you mentioned Family Guy, the Seth MacFarlane verse essentially, it's very, I don't want to say ugly, but it's not pretty. Like a visually speaking way, like you look at anime and there's so much artistic levels there as opposed to you say Family Guy and you're like eye face. Just for example, like things like Steven Universe, The Owl House, American animation, but they take on a lot more anime-inspired plot lines. They're talking about war, they're talking about interpersonal relationships, and unfortunately American media is so divisive about like what's okay for kids, what's okay for adults, that there's not a lot of overlap. Like Owl House was originally supposed to be a show for adults, but you couldn't market a serious like fantasy show for adults in the American market, so they went down to kids. But then when we're doing stuff for kids, it's really hard to talk about gay people. Like the creator of that, Dana Terrace, had to fight tooth and nail to get a girlfriend relationship, two girls dating each other on a Disney show.
I think South Park is a good exception to that rule because they are non-stop trying, and they also did push the boundary for what is allowed on television. You couldn't say a lot of swear words. Now it's very loose, and you do have to think though. So I think taking it back at history and looking at them, you gotta appreciate how far we've come.